Hello everyone, welcome to So Dramatic, where we're bringing fantastic ideas to life. Today I want to talk again about fabric flowers. I looked at my stash recently. Here we go. Here are some of the pre-mades that I have had ready for a while. They're always there if I need a little something. But you know what? None of the color combinations are what I'm looking for. I want to create some marigolds, which means I need orange and yellow. I've got a bunch of yellow left over. This one's a little bit on the orange side, but I didn't really have any good oranges. So here you can see that I've bought some oranges that are kind of in the marigold range, and I'm going to make some folded flowers out of these. So this fabric right here is a batik, which means that it looks about the same on each side. One side is a little bit brighter in some places, and in other places it's the other side. So the nice thing about this fabric is if you can't tell which side's the right side, then it doesn't matter. So I am going to make some outlines. And I'm leaving a little space right there, about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. I'm just kind of eyeballing it because there's not going to be enough space on the end if they were back to back to put on the other side. And this is going to be the sew line, so that the outside line is going to be here. And then on one of the pieces, I will cut a little slit, turn it inside out, iron it, and then either sew up that slit right there or use fusible web. Whichever part of it is going to be folded into the design, so it won't really be noticed anyway. And the reason I do that is to maintain the purity of the circle, and so I don't have to do a bunch of hand stitching. One of the things I did want to mention is that I'm making 10 to 12 of each orange color, which will give me 20 to 24 of the flower bases when I get to the point where I'm going to fold them into marigolds. Here you can see that I've placed the fabrics right side together for the pinning so that I can do all the cutting out at once and I don't have to mess with a bunch of fiddly circles. I learned this when I was doing doll part making. Cutting the circles is always a fun and meditative process. Here you can see that I'm basically just cutting them out, and there's some chunky bits left on the edges. Once I have all the circles in a pile, then I will trim up those edges and get them looking fine. Once all 24 were made, then comes turning all of the circles. I've got my bone folder there so I can put it inside and basically press open all of the edges of all of the circles and make a stack. This is actually really meditative and fun as well. Most of the process is, but building the base is the longest part. And here I'm going to demo ironing one circle. Placing fusible web inside of this and giving it a quick iron helps to hold the whole thing together, particularly when I'm doing the fold and stitch. You don't need to do this part, or you can just hand stitch it using a whip stitch. And I always put the tear someplace where it's not going to show. In this case, on the bottom, because the flowers are going to be sewn to a flat surface after I get the whole cloak organized. Because as you remember, this is just one design element of many that you're going to see me make in the coming weeks before May. Here you can see that I have a stack of circles ready to go. So I'm going to mark the points that I'm going to use to do the folded flower stitch. So I'm using the template to mark the center, and I'm also using my hexagon quilting template to mark all of the points. And they're more or less accurate. They're not 100% accurate. Mostly they're there. What I'm trying to do is make a game point of reference. Because the flowers aren't going to be 100% symmetrical, nor 100% all alike. And I like that because they're flowers. Let me show you now how the stitch works. So I'm bringing the thread in through the back in the center point, and I'm grabbing just the edge where the mark says it is, more or less, and bringing it to the center. Then either picking up the stitch in the middle or going straight through and coming through again and picking up the next one. As I go around, I will have 6 petals at the end, and I will be able to move from there. Once the flower shape is complete, I am sewing a round gold bead in the center just to give it that flowery flair. And then I will be using Magatami orange beads on the sides. You can see them here. Now I'm going to bring my needle up beside and sew the 2 edges of the petals together, only because I really like the look that gives me, and it also gives me a spot to put the Magatami bead. Seen here. And when it's all finished, these are the flowers that you'll see. I hope you enjoyed this flower folding tutorial as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe.